You see bubbles? Oh,
I'm guessing that's a yes.
I think it works. Hi, everybody. This is Shane Schultz. I am the creator and host of the Arisen Strength podcast. We do this show every Sunday night here at the Arisen Strength Studios at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This show is meant to be there for those people that require some support and some encouragement in order to be able to get through the tough days that they have and to make their best days with the ones that can. How we do that is that we basically are encouraging people to pursue their dreams, talents, and capabilities in spite of the challenges that they have. And we do that with a three-pillar concept. We support, then we encourage or empower, and lastly, after all that work, we get to celebrate. And so with that three-pillar concept, hopefully we're able to change some lives around in order to be able to get to find those dreams, talents, and capabilities again for everybody at home. What we're doing here, we're actually doing some new things. We've actually got a new chat room which allows us to not only chat, but it actually allows us to play the video of the show, the live show, right in that chat room. So we're constantly working to, like Wayne says all the time, learn, improve, share, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for our listeners, our audience, to be able to come together as a family, like we talk about with the Arisen Strength family, and be able to watch the show and be able to give us feedback all in one spot, so that we don't have to, go from three different areas in order to be able to get the same thing done that we wanted to do. So we're a little bit helter-skelter today, but that's okay. We're going to get through it with the Arisen Strength concept. We've done pretty well so far. And man, can you imagine when we started in March with the meet and greet?
Yeah. We've come a long way. We're improving a little bit every day. I think this chat room here on Chatsy is going to really tie together. Yeah. As Shane was saying, because we're all in one place, we can use this chat room as kind of like you can have a forum discussion with people. Guys get together, talk to each other. We're gonna have Crystal in the room. Yeah. Talking, moderate the chat room, keeping the chat conversation going, and we got pull up a picture here of Crystal so everybody can see who Crystal looks like. See what Crystal looks like. She'll be in the chat room there. She'll be your moderator during the show. Right. Facilitate the conversation if necessary. She'll be able to help you out. Shane and I will be able to take time out necessarily to get involved in the chat room during the show. But the chat room is going to be open 24/7 is what it sounds like.
Yeah, right now we're going to leave it open and see what kind of traffic that we get. We're going to use it for the different shows that Arisen Strength or Serenely Speaking is part of. And with that being the case, right now we've got tonight's show, we've got Sunday show, and we've got Thursday show. But we also have some other ideas that are coming up, such as the radio show that we're going to be doing, in the near future, in the next couple of weeks. We went ahead and signed with Michael Long and his Journey into the Light network, to where we're going to do a full hour show, a weekly show. We're still hammering out the details on that, but it's going to be in the next couple weeks, and so we might use the chat room for it so as to make it accessible for our followers, to make it easy for them. So this allows us to do a lot of different things. It allows us to interact before and after the show. As far as the hosts are concerned, it allows us to be able to get feedback, immediately with what's going on. Hey, the volume's not working, or the audio's not working. We've done that a couple times, and we've had to shoot the show completely over. So it allows us to get immediate feedback. We're able to answer questions. You actually can do a private question. If you wanted an answer to something that you might have been thinking about, but you didn't want to put it in a public chat room, hey, that's fine. Go ahead and privately message Crystal or the moderator that's there for that day, and they'll make sure to get that question to us so that we can either answer it while we're on the air, and if we don't do it on the air, we definitely will get in touch with you in order to be able to get that answer to you.
Yeah, I think that was one of the little options in there is to be able to do a survey. When we get used to this, we'll have one or two surveys lined up in advance, preloaded. We don't have it at the moment, but Crystal will be able to get people in the chat room, launch a survey question. You guys could either be accommodated, there'll be fixed answers possibly, or maybe supply your own answer.
Sure.
But then as the show progresses, toward the end of the show, we can revisit the survey question and see what people's responses were. It could be, we got to think of ways to use that. I mean, I think it's a neat way to sort of interact with people, so we can have a conversation start at the beginning, and then by the end of the show, we can look at sort of some results and see how the conversation went. Yeah, I think there's some neat ways of utilizing the survey.
And that's what I was just talking to Crystal before the show. We haven't found our end of the list of things that we can do with this chat. We're learning more and more, and with our own ideas and our own capabilities, we're able to push it even further than what most people probably do. So we're really learn, improve, share a whole lot, and so things are going to change for the better, hopefully, as time goes along. And Crystal is very familiar with working a chat room while doing a podcast. So I mean, it's really a perfect match for us, and it really just kind of fell into our hands as to where I've used Chatsy for a while. I really didn't think that it would have this capability, and when we found that it did, we explored it even more so, and I think that we're gonna really benefit from it. So, and speaking of Crystal, why don't we introduce Crystal? Crystal, are you there tonight?
I am definitely here. Hanging out in the chat room, waiting for somebody to talk to me.
Well, you're perfect for the chat room because I know that you've done it in the past and everything, but your personality is perfect with it. You definitely can help us out getting more feedback. I know that we do the focus group at the Arisen Strength family group, so I know that this is going to really work out, and I'm just so happy that you're able to help us in this way, as well as other ways, in order to be able to promote what it is that we're trying to do and get done here. And I just want to say thank you for doing that for us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And then
I enjoy doing it.
yeah, she really does. She's perfect for it. She really is. It's her personality is just perfect for this. You've been hearing Wayne's voice, but we didn't actually introduce him yet. Wayne, you looking forward to today's show?
I'm really excited today. We kind of got this going. Just this week we've been talking about getting Chatsy in particular.
Yeah.
We've been talking about getting sort of a chat element in here, and we've experimented with a couple different ones. I think this is the one where, at least for the short term, we're committing to, and then probably the long term. And I'm really excited to as I said, learn, improve, share. But that's what we want to do. But the way we're going to do it, the how behind that, is going to be the performance revision. Rolling it out tonight. Meant to be the final form. We need some feedback. So come into the chat room, talk with Crystal. The chat room, she wants, she doesn't want to just sit there and watch herself chat. So get with Crystal, and then and then any suggestions or any questions you have about what we're trying to do, we can try and get those clarified for you. Yeah. Or if you have any suggestions of how you think we can improve what we're doing, we always have technological glitches here. We've been trying to work those out, so the audio might be uneven at times. We apologize for that. We are working on that. The video could be uneven at times. We apologize. We're working on that. We've made some investments in getting faster bandwidth, more up speed, more down speed. So we're working on those things as best we can. But we're open to your suggestions. And the chat room's a great place to do it. And like I said, it's a great place to come together and talk to each other you might know each other from the community, from the Facebook family, from the Arisen Strength family on Facebook. We have over 500, almost 500, about 450 registered members there. So you guys sort of see each other periodically, and we have the Arisen Strength forums where there gets some pretty lively conversation going on. Well, we can move a lot of that over to here to the chat room, and we can be running the forums during the show, where you're kind of listening in one ear and you're talking to each other, and really kind of helping us out and helping us, really improve the product.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing that we really need to make clear here: we started this in March. And that's what I was having the conversation with Wayne is, how far we've come along since our first show. Our first show being the meet and greet was in March. We've not only improved, with the show itself, with the content of the show, with the chemistry of the show. But then we decided that, all right, well, we've got something good here, so why don't we invest in the show? And that's what I did. Is that I invested into a professional audio mic. I invested into giving us more bandwidth. But at the same time, we're still kind of it's almost like we're working from behind. But quite frankly, we're ahead of the game than what most people would be. Most people would find it to be about a year before they start getting to the point where they have as much improvement as what we've done, in such a short amount of time. So, I can appreciate, and I'm a perfectionist to the worst, for my own, it's my own envy, really, but the thing is that we're really ahead of the game, and we're really working on what it is that it needs to be done in order to make this show a better show for those that are out there as our audience and for the archive, and for the future. So that's what we're doing. We're really excited about it. I know we've got quite a few people in the chat room right now. I know that Crystal kind of got bounced out for a second, but now she's back in, so she's a trooper. I know that's gonna work out. Now we get to have another exciting announcement, and it happens to deal with our friend Charles. Our friend Charles has been having everybody kind of concerned and everything in regards to, he went, and for those who don't know, he had a kidney transplant, and he had some complications. He had some significant complications. And now we've been sitting there, and we've been asking people to pray. We've been asking people to keep him in their thoughts, as well as his wife. His wife is also not feeling too well, but she's a trooper. She's by his side. We've been very fortunate to have Charles' son, Chuck, keep us apprised of what is going on. It's been slow as far as any type of changes or anything, but we can say this: Charles is improving. He is having some progression in regards to coming back to us a little bit. He is still pretty sedated. He is, he's definitely not out of the woods, but he is communicating. He wants to communicate, which is a big, big thing. Another thing is that he is now breathing on his own for the most part. That is a huge thing. He was with a ventilator, as well as continual dialysis. Now they're doing intermittent dialysis, and he is no longer on the ventilator. So he is making some strong improvements. He is in for a very long recovery. The kidney, as far as we know, is still viable. So he may just get out of this with the best case scenario. He just took a couple turns off the beaten path. But I think we might have the best case scenario in the end.
Yeah, that's great news. I know Crystal very excited to get the news. She was rallying troops there in the chat room as you're making an announcement.
Oh, okay.
And we're really great news. Good to hear. It's all part of the Arisen Strength family. We stay in contact, share, celebrate. Good.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, Charles is a big part of Arisen Strength. He's with the show itself. We had him on with the autism show, and also he is part of he's an admin in regard to the Essential Needs group, as well as the Human Factor, which is our advocacy group or page for donorship of all kinds. So, this is a really big deal to have Charles be able to make it through with the kidney as is right now. And we're still cautiously optimistic. I don't want to get it to the point where he's out of the woods, because he's not. But I do want to be able to give some good news compared to the lack of news that I was able to give before. So, so we're still thinking of Charles. We're still praying, and whatever it is that we've been doing, just keep doing it and doing it even more if you can. So tonight we're going to talk about self-esteem, and this is a subject where a lot of people can really go in the wrong direction. A lot of people can be behind the eight ball, so to speak, with this. Not only do they not progress, not only do they not get better, they go backwards, and they come to a stop to where they don't think that they can be any better than what it is that they are. And I know a lot about this because I had some self-esteem problems throughout my childhood, to the point as to where I literally turned my life around by creating my own identity. And for better or for worse, that's what I did, and that was because of my self-esteem. Not only did I not have a good self-esteem or a high self-esteem, I actually self-loathed to the point as to where I hated my name, I hated my looks, I hated my voice. And when I say hate, I mean to the extreme. I hated it. And when you come to that realization, when you come to being like that, you end up finding yourself, saying basically, what the heck am I here for? And next thing you know, things get a little bit concerning, or a lot concerning depending on the situation. And I know that Wayne was really looking forward to, to having the show to talk about self-esteem.
Yeah, I know. One of the ways I think about it, here's my experience with self-esteem, and this is not by any means anything that I have solved. I haven't finished at least solving the problem. But I know one of the real drawbacks for me with self-esteem, it goes all the way back to, the earliest days. Because one of the things about self-esteem is you really got to find it within you. I mean, self-esteem is something you need to. What they say, I shouldn't say word need to, but when it comes from inside and it's not dependent on some sort of external validation. I mean, that's the real power of the self-esteem. It's something that you have and carry with you, no matter what you face. But one of the real issues that I found in growing up is I never got, at least my feeling is that I never got that early validation of, early praise, early, where you learn to get that initial feeling of like, hey, that feels pretty good when you feel good about yourself. Self-esteem feels pretty good, and then work to now do it yourself. Because I didn't get that sort of that early push, a lot of times, I just don't really have a way to start feeling, my self-esteem. As I require, at least a little bit now, that external validation that I know ultimately I need to shed. I have to. I should have it from within, but I have to get used to that feeling and really want it. And I say want it in the sense of like, oh, that's what it feels like. That's the feeling I'm going for. That's what I'm trying to do, rather than just some sort of mock self-esteem or mock bravado or just kind of without really knowing what it is what's that feeling that I want. I know I get it a little bit when I get some external validation, and so but I need that so that I can say, that's the feeling I want. That's the feeling I want. So I have something to work towards. But if it goes all the way back from an early age, not being not being loved. That's not quite the right words, but but not getting it early. Yeah. So this is interesting topic for me to think about.
Well, really, I mean, the definition of self-esteem, there are a number of different ones, but, it's really a feeling of having respect for yourself and your abilities. Or another way of looking at it is, having confidence and satisfaction in oneself. And what that does is it basically gives you a foundation to work with. That's where I really had a difficult time because I would sit there and here it is. Not only do I not have self-esteem, not only do I have confidence in myself. Heck, I'm self-loathing myself. I'm telling myself that I can't do nothing. I don't look the way that I want to look. I don't sound the way I want to sound. I don't do what it is that I want to do. I know that my mother would always tell me. She always used to, and she still to this day talks about it, is to where I had certain friends of mine that they seemed to be well-to-do. They seemed to be having always having the materialistic things. They had the Nike sneakers back then and the pony sneakers. Oh my God, I just dated myself. But anyways, I mean, so the leather sneakers, the dress shirts, always looking just right, and in a way that always being popular with them and everything like that. And my parents thought that it was because of his money that I thought that that I wanted to be like him, and really it had nothing to do with the money. It had to do with the fact that he was accepted. He accepted himself, and he was accepted by others, and I wasn't, because I didn't accept myself. So therefore, I really didn't promote for others to accept me, and so I was always in the middle, and it was really kind of strange because I had a very strong personality, which is kind of, I was kind of lucky in that sense, because the way that I treated myself, I could have very easily been a meek individual. I could have very easily been weak and overwhelmed. But in actuality, I had a very strong personality, and to the point as to where, I was always in the middle. When it came to school, there were the what was called the preps, and there was the not the hoodlums, but I mean like the gang type style groups, and then there were the quote unquote nerds. Like, I was always in the middle. I never really took sides, and when I had to take sides, I really took it upon myself to make them regret that I had to. Like, for instance, playing a game of kickball. I can remember I had a certain team that I was always on, and it happened to be, the popular team. But that was because I was athletic. And one day, I got into an argument with the captain, and the captain traded me. He traded me onto the other team, which was basically, the guys who, they were they ended up like being mechanics. They were like blue collar kind of guys, really. And they played the game, and they loved. It was like the Globetrotters. You know what I mean? It was like the Washington Generals against the Globetrotters all the time. And so, anyways, they traded me over to that team. Well, I made it a point of making sure that they were going to regret that. And that was my personal way of handling it. And they did. They regretted it. That one game, they regretted it. They never traded me again. But the thing is here it is. In a way, again, it was working against me because I had this strong personality, which was on the outside, which everybody saw, but on the inside, I was basically decaying on the inside, and really in a mental state of confusion and detriment of my own, which was all by my own thoughts, my own feelings. So, I mean, basically, when it comes to self-esteem, this is something that, we need to, when I say we, I mean, when I talk and I say we or anything like that, I want to make this clear. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. what I'm doing is I'm trying to identify with the audience and with the people who I'm trying to help, and I'm trying to make it so that it's not just me, them, and the condition. I'm trying to be on their side as to where I'm walking hand in hand with them and fighting what it is that they go through. Even though that I don't necessarily go through the exact same thing that they go through, I go through my own issues.
Yeah, I mean, we're all on our own unique journeys, but even though we're on separate journeys, we see a lot of the same sights along the way. So there's a lot of familiarity. You'll start talking about their issues, and then you get their past, and you can, maybe you can, I know I can find ways to identify a lot. But a lot of things that people say, completely new and foreign to me, and and I learn all the time talking to people. So I'm reminded that we all have unique journeys, but as unique as our journeys are, there's a lot of commonalities, and I think we could sort of find a good balance between those. So, and I do the same thing. I'll talk about you or we, and then pretty much all those cases, me, I. These are things I need to do to try and address some of my personal issues, and just kind of passing along just some wisdom that I've found along the way, and I'm open to hear the wisdom come back. What's worked for you.
Right. And here are some of the effects that self-esteem really, comes into play. It's not just mentally; it's also physically. You come to a point as to where, I know when here it is that I wasn't feeling well in my own mindset. It's like I didn't much care about my health. It's like I didn't much care about whether I ate correctly. I didn't care whether I got as much sleep as what I needed. I didn't care that educationally. I didn't care that in the long run, if you don't have a college education, you're going to be working from behind the eight ball. I really didn't care about that as when I was younger, because I didn't feel it. I didn't feel like it was like I was worth it. I didn't feel like I was adequate in my own mind. And so my effects were as to where it made me tired. It made me grumpy, depressed. Made me very like blaming, like hurt in a way. It's like nobody else could hurt me any more than what I could hurt me, and it had me to the point as to where socially it was tough. It's like, to be honest with you, it's like I'm now getting back together with friends of mine when I was younger, and I didn't know that they really wanted to be friends of mine back when I was a kid. And then I kind of went to a different school and everything. We kind of lost touch. But I didn't see it. I didn't see it in my own head. And in the meantime, they didn't see why I didn't see it.
Yeah, two of the ways I've struggled with, and I've played in sort of opposite ends of the field, and I've had both these experiences quite often. And one is chasing that external validation. Yeah. So I'm out doing things that I don't want to do necessarily. That's not who I am. I'm playing a role. I'm just looking for, for lack of another way of saying it, I'm looking for attention, and so which can lead to lots of unhealthy behaviors. Sure. So I'm doing that on one side, and then another way that hurts me is when I say, okay, I'm going to dial it back. I need to learn from that internal self-esteem, because I don't really have any benchmark or to know what I'm doing. Is like I can never get that initial spark. I don't get that initial spark of motivation to do that. It's like, if I really had a little bit of self-esteem, I know that if I do this, I would feel good if I do that. So and then I could build up some motivation to want to do the things that I know that I'm good at, right, because I know that I'll feel good doing them. But it's like I don't make that connection between feeling that reward inside for being successful. So then I don't get that sort of motivation spark to pursue it. So I've had many instances where it leads to burnout. Where it's like I'll do some things and then just I don't get any enjoyment out of doing it. It's what I want to do, but I don't know. Maybe I don't have the energy. I don't have the the will, I don't have the motivation to do it, and a lot of that stems from very low self-esteem. Or if I had a little bit more self-esteem, the things that I'm good at, I would do more because I'm good at them, and I will feel good about doing things that I'm good at.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of people who are within the Arisen Strength family and our audience and everything like that that have other challenges, have other struggles that they go through, whether it be pain related or by injury or illness, or then there's others who are in domestic violence situations, and whether it be children and or significant others. And these types of situations also create a low self-esteem, and they do that, because it's a learned behavior. It's something that, where as a pattern, it grows and grows and grows to the point as to where it's almost as if like what's the as a kid, Pavlov's dog.
Pavlov's dog, yeah.
Pavlov's dog, is the same thing, as to where, or training an elephant. How do they train an elephant? When it comes to being in captivity, they simply just take a little chain, and when I say little, I mean it's not little for you and I, but for an elephant, it's little, and they can keep an elephant from wanting to pull away and go further than what it is that they want it to. And how they do that is they just keep on shortening that chain, just little by little, little by little, little by little. And the elephant just moves and realizes there's resistance there, and then it just settles back, and it stays where it is. Where in fact, it could simply say, "Get off me," and next thing you know, and I'd be on a run. But that just goes to show you it's not just about the humans. Also, animals also have the same situation. To where they have learned behaviors just as much as what we do. And when it comes to pain-related conditions, illnesses, how about conditions? I was just talking to Brian in regards to Lyme disease. Lyme disease is very, very frustrating because there are definitely more questions than there are ever answers. And it's to the point as to where you start having that low self-esteem because what are you doing? What are you doing other than just existing and trying to survive? What it is that you're going through. You're not growing anymore. You're not learning anymore. You're not participating anymore, and therefore you kind of become an introvert in a way to where your self-esteem gets lower and lower and lower. And then you start working on yourself, your mind, and then it gets to the point where it's dangerously lower. That's something that I know I've gone through with my chronic depression and my PTSD. There's been times as to where I just simply feel like I'm just existing, which nobody wants to do. We're not put on this earth to simply exist. We're put on this earth to live, and that's really what brought the concept of Arisen Strength into play, was because I was rebelling against the fact that I was just existing anymore, and then when I realized I couldn't be the only one that would be like that, I decided to make this show, as well as my public speaking business, based off of that, to where we bring that thought that mere existence is no longer okay, and we're put on this earth to live, and we need to do that as much as we possibly can, in spite of our challenges and struggles that we go through, and knowing that there's going to be challenging days, but when we have our good days, live them to the fullest. We've been talking quite a bit. Crystal's been in the chat room. She's been doing the best that she can with that. Crystal, you've been following the show. Do you have anything to talk about when it comes to self-esteem?
Definitely so. I really do think that if you actually survey everybody, I think at some time in their lives, if not continuously, people struggle with self-esteem. And this is a pretty common theme with people. we're getting involved with anybody in pain groups or anybody that's in the Arisen strength group, this is constantly a subject that came up, is a struggle with self-esteem. And I think that there's lots I could say about this, Shane. I've got my own stories about it, but I think really to sum it up is if you're looking for validation on the outside, if you're looking for someone to give you your self-identity, you'll be searching forever. And that self-esteem, that self-worth, that self-value has got to come from you. And that is work. It's like Wayne said, it's continuous work. You've constantly got to find what it is that's your mission, your purpose in life, and stop taking it from the outside world. You know, it feels really good when people give you feedback and say, oh, Crystal, you done a great job on the video, and that feels great, and that raises your self-esteem. That's great, but if I don't know that within myself, it's just kind of a high and low. You peak and fall back down again.
Right.
But I think that's really what I'd just like to say about that. It's just search within yourself, and that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Not from the outside.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I mean, for me, it's like I kind of take my low self-esteem to extreme extents, and it's called codependency. For me, my codependency is to be validated by others. Everything that I do, you know, for a long period of time in my life was to be validated by others, and it wasn't necessarily that I was doing it to get to be told that I was doing something right or anything like that. It was just to be accepted and just to be validated for my mere existence, you know, and my efforts.
Yeah, it seems like with codependency, one of the things is you end up defining a lot about yourself in terms of the relationship that you're in. So, you know, if the relationship is going through a rocky point, then all of a sudden I'm a rocky person. You know, if and you put too much emphasis on that external validation rather than, you know, have it within yourself and then use that strength to strengthen your relationship. So you don't look to the relationship to define you.
Right. And you know, and you both have brought up, you know, some very important points, and that is that it has to come from you. It has to come from within you to be able to build your self-esteem, to make your self-esteem to where it's working for you as opposed to against you. And you know, Arisen Strength isn't just about bringing awareness to the subject. We also have what's called the empowerment part of it, and how we do the empowerment part is through re-educating and encouraging to look in a different way or a different view or turning the thought. And you know, so this is where we're going to bring up you know, an idea. It's a routine that I've developed that has helped me when it comes to my self-esteem. And I'm hoping that it helps you. I'm not saying it's the only way to be able to get it done. There are numerous ways of being able to develop a working relationship with your esteem of yourself. You know, but at the same time, this is just giving you some ideas that you can work with, and you're gonna find a few patterns that are part of this. And you know, and once you realize what those patterns are, I think you'll get the hang of it, and then you'll be able to make your own routine.
Yeah, before you get into this routine, like you were saying, and it was great you pointed out, this is one that you have found that worked for you, and then you kind of follow it. And it reminds me, there's a slow expression, and I think it rings true here, is nobody plans to fail, they fail to plan. And this is an example of you develop this plan, and then you follow the plan. And a lot of the reason for the success of this plan is the fact that you have it and use it.
Right.
So that means in our own lives, you know, all I have to do is, you know, I got to start somewhere. So here's a plan. I can start there, but I can make it my own. But once I have it my own, you know, put some focus into sticking to my plan. I'm following my plan. I'm following my plan, and that is really, really hard to do. I know for me, it's very, very difficult for me to stick to a plan. But I do know that when I have one and I do stick to it, I have a lot more success than when I don't.
And it absolutely is not perfection by any means. It is progress, and it takes a good long time. Like Wayne had talked about, it's very hard to do. And also, I'm surprised he didn't jump on it. But I want to make this very clear: we are not doctors, we are not therapists, we are not psychiatrists. I know a lot about the clinical aspects of this and other subjects, but I choose not to get involved in them because we aren't them. What we are is that we basically, we help and we support the person while the professional is helping the patient.
Yeah, and I would like to mention that Crystal is a nurse. Crystal is kind of our resident medical expert, and really her main job is one of her main jobs. She has lots of jobs, but one of her jobs is to stop us from giving medical advice. As the medical professional, she's the one who guys say, hey, you guys are trained into giving medical advice there, don't do that. So again, we're not here trying to give medical advice. We're just giving personal advice. We're trying to help get the words out that we've seen in our lives, and we're also open to hear your words back at us because we're looking. It's not perfection; it's about progress, and we're all willing to make. We don't want to cross that boundary to giving medical advice. So one of the things we value Crystal for is she reminds us she doesn't have to do it too often because we know that she's there ready to snap at us. So we try to be really careful about straying over that line and giving medical advice. But if it sounds like we're giving medical advice, aside from see your doctor, we don't give medical advice.
And really, she hasn't had it to catch us at all, really, for the most part. Because I didn't make this show based off of clinical aspects of it. As a matter of fact, it was the very opposite of. I mean, I don't go out and speak on, when I go out and I speak on behalf of the patient, or from a patient's point of view. I don't go and speaking on behalf of the clinicians. I don't go and on behalf of the hospitals or clinics that I've been to. I speak as from a patient's point of view. And I think that that's one of the things that made this as popular as it is because that's not a very common thing to be done.
Okay, all that being said, you got your plan that works for you, Shane. Let's whip it out. I know everyone's ready to hear it now.
Well, I mean, it starts with first things first. And that is the first thing when you wake up. For me, I give myself time to prepare myself to be the best that I can be for that day. And how I do that is when I wake up, I don't just roll out of bed and just move and get going. No, what I do is I literally take time and I think of right from the get-go, and I'll be right honest with you. I have problems with suicidality, and so I have to really clear my mind. And really put my mind into an effective state to where I want to be as best as I can. I don't want to fall into that depression cycle, of which I can do very easily. One thing that I really do is I insist on staying in bed and laying there and stretching my muscles. Stretching the muscles is very important because not only do you want to just get to the point as to where you don't want to, jump up out of bed and twist something or whatever the case may be. No, that's not it. You want to wake your muscles. You want to make them awake. You want to make them awake along with your body because your regular endorphins, your natural endorphins, will then be coming from you, within you, to be able to move, to be able to get that natural high, so to speak, in a reasonable way, to where you want to do something today. You want to do more than just roll out of bed and get the work cycle going. And another thing is you want to be grateful for the opportunity of the day. What are you going to do with it now? See, that's the thing. Is that a lot of people look at things and they say, well, I got to go to work, or I can't believe I got to go to work, or it's like, oh my God, it's only. I know I've done it in the past. It's like, oh my God, it's only Wednesday. It's like I got another 3 days before I have the weekend off or whatever the case may be. Those types of thoughts are learned behaviors. Those types of feelings and so forth within, create a pattern that creates a negative pattern, is to the point to where not only is your mind in the wrong sense, but so is your body. So be grateful for the opportunity of the day. What are you going to do with it? What do you want to do with your day? And it's yours. It's nobody else's. It's yours. And that's something that's very important. Crystal, I know that when we talk about stretching and everything like that with the natural endorphins, you can attest to that, can't you?
Well, I mean, absolutely. It's a benefit in people that do not have medical challenges. We have to kind of, those of us that are challenged medically have to do that a tad bit differently. It might take us an hour before we're able to get out of bed sometimes. But the endorphins definitely are produced. They definitely are pain relievers and motivators in themselves. So you do yourself a favor by doing exactly what you're speaking of, Shane.
Yeah, and notice I didn't say go work out, okay? I didn't say go for a run. I didn't say go and get a dumbbell and start doing curls. No, I didn't say any of that. I said stretch, okay? And that's because that's the important part. That's to get the endorphins going. That's to get your body in sync with your mind, and you get going to the points where you get into the right frame of mind.
Yeah, it's so simple. Wiggle your fingers a little bit, wiggle your toes. Recognize that all your body parts are there. Flex the elbows a little bit, flex the knee a little bit. Whatever you could do, like sort of there in the morning, just to sort of, oh, I'm here kind of thing.
It really enlivens you a little bit, and even though that it seems simple, try it, because I think you'll find that it'll make a big difference to you in the long run. The second thing is fuel your body and your mind, okay? When I say fuel your body, of course, I'm going to talk about breakfast. Now, look, this is something I have a difficulty doing right away. I normally catch up with it throughout the day, but prepare yourself for breakfast. You are worth it, okay? You're worth taking the time to do these things. Prepare a breakfast for yourself that's healthy and nourishing, one that's going to give you energy, not one that's not a big breakfast that's going to log you down into the point to where it's like you're just eating just to consume something. No, do this with really thinking about what's going to fuel me, what's going to get me going along with my body to where that's going to be able to move me in the right direction for that day. You are worth it. Be one with yourself. That one is imperative. Be one with yourself for this point in time. This short period of time that you have to yourself. Keep the drama and the stress outside of your space. Now, what do I mean by that? Don't turn on the news, okay? The news is negative. 90% of the news is negative in some way. You either hear about some sort of crime that's going on within your area, which is going to be negative. You're going to hear some sort of political aspect that's going to be going on. That drives people to the point of frustration and craziness. That's negative. It's like, don't, or religious aspects or something. There's always these things on the news that is negative. Turn off the news. If you want to find out about the news or find out about the weather, read the newspaper, or get into the car and read and listen to it on the radio or something in that sense. Don't turn on the news, because that's going to be a mindset. Again, you want to keep that drama, that negativity outside of your head. Next, while you're not watching the news, did I say don't watch the news? Write down a list of goals. Write down a list of goals. Simple and to the point. What do you want to do with your day today? What results do you want done for that day? It's up to you. You are in complete control. You are the one that can make these things happen. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It doesn't have to be anything huge. But just what do you want to get done today? What do you want to accomplish for that day?
I think a big part of this self-esteem is the celebration part of recognition of accomplishments. I mean, there's embracing the moment and doing that, but then taking that time to sort of recognize your accomplishments, and that has a lot of extra weight if it's something you've written down beforehand.
Right.
If I can it could be a small thing. Maybe it's, finish my shower in less than 10 minutes. I mean, start with some, whatever in your life is a small goal that you think that you could achieve. Write it down, do it, achieve it, and then recognize it after you've done it.
Absolutely.
I wrote it down, I did it. Take that little momentary personal celebration.
Well, I mean, Crystal mentioned, before when we were talking about, we have a number of listeners and audience, that have chronic pain issues, that have chronic illness issues. I mean, you can't go out and be Superman and leap a tall building in one bound. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not saying that. Do one thing. If it's one thing or two things, that's fine. But write them down. Keep them within your mind. I know that I had problems this weekend. It's like I've been dealing with my depression for quite a bit lately, and I had another instance, on Friday as to where, again, it was kind of enforcing my depression. So when it came to what did I want to do, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to lay in bed, and I just wanted to let the world just go away. But I couldn't do that, because if I did that, then I'm only accentuating my negativity. So I decided, okay, well, I'm going to do something. So what did I do? I wrote today's show. I wrote the outline for today's show. I got that done. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was arduous to me, but I knew that if I got it done, we would be better off today. And we had it done. Both Crystal and Wayne had a copy of it. They were ready to go. They both were appreciative of having it, and I got it done. Even though I didn't want to do it, I got it done, and it was an accomplishment, and it benefited me in the long run. So then, now you have an opportunity. Okay, so now you're getting ready for work. Okay, look your best. Don't rush when you are getting ready. Take pride in what it is that you're doing. Allow yourself to believe what it is that you can achieve. And while you're doing that, do your best to look your best. Now, again, I'm not saying that, like guys, I'm not talking about three-piece suits. Ladies, I'm not talking about, dressed to the nines and everything. If you can, do it, but if not, do the best that you can and be satisfied with that. Be to the point as to where you acknowledge that you did the best that you can in order to look the best that you can, and you take pride in what it is that you do. And then at the end, look in the mirror and smile and say, I'm ready for today. Just smile. When you smile, again, it's an endorphin thing. When you smile, it ends up giving you this message within your mind, hey, things are better than what they were before I thought they were, and just make it a little bit better than what it started out to be. Now, you get out of the house. Now you're driving to work and everything, okay? Or you're in the house and you're just getting around as much as you can. Focus, simplify, smile. Not necessarily in that order. First, smile, because it's the law of attraction. If you sit there and you're positive and you have a smile on your face, the law of attraction will benefit you in the long run. It's something, whether it be another person is going to be attracted to you, whether it be a friendship or a relationship, or just as mere strangers. When you go ahead and you smile at somebody, most times they're going to smile back at you, and you're going to be more welcoming to what it is to maybe a conversation or to having something done between the two of you. Simplify your day, okay? Do your goals. Remember your goals that you made in the morning? Do your goals. Simplify it. Don't get involved into all the drama. Don't let people put things on your desk and say, I need this done by tomorrow. Don't jump into that. Don't fall into that. Those things are going to happen. Okay? I'm not telling you they're not going to happen. They will happen. But don't have your mind fall into that. Get your goals done. Prioritize what it is that you need done and get done that part, so that you can accomplish what it is that you're looking to do. Next, engage yourself with your work. Now, what am I, crazy? Nobody wants to engage themselves with their work. They want to go away from the work. No, 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 no. Engage yourself with your work. You have to do it anyways. So why make yourself crazy? Why make yourself negative while working? It's only going to keep you to the point is, again, you're going to have that negative frame of mind. Engage yourself. Do the best that you can with it. Focus and do your best with what you can do. If it's not work when you're at home, what you're doing, if you're doing the dishes, do the best that you can do. If you're doing the laundry, do the best that you can do. If you're doing the outside chores or whatever the case may be, again, doing the best that you can do. Then, keep other people's drama where it belongs. With them. Keep their drama where it belongs. It's theirs. Don't own it. Don't take it upon yourself. I know I have situations when I'm at work in the past and before, is to where I would have people who sat next to me and they did nothing but complain about their health issues. Nothing but. I mean, it was like they thought that they were the only ones that ever had health issues in their lives, and they would just constantly complain about it. And they would constantly come to me, and then all of a sudden they would say, well, you know what I'm talking about. I would be like, I wasn't even listening. Okay? Don't let that drama get into your head. Don't let it impede on what it is that you're trying to get done for that day. Lastly, when you leave for work, leave it ready for your best tomorrow. Get it ready so that when you walk in that door tomorrow, you are ready to rock and roll from the very beginning and not to be stopped. Now, number 5, this is your time. And Wayne mentioned it already. This is reward. Okay? We've done work. This has been work now. All this that we're doing, this is work. Now it's our time. It's your time. Leave work at work. Don't bring work with you. I'm one to talk. I bring work with me 24/7. But I also am hindered by it. I'm not benefited by it.
So again, it's a good time to remind people it's all about progress, not perfection. Progress. There's a plan.
Yep.
You know, are you going to be able to stick? Are you be able to make a plan that you stick to perfectly every single day? No. That's okay. You know, it's having the plan. It's following as best you can, checking it off where you can, and then when you do fall a little short, recognizing that and saying, you know what, that might be something I want to think about. Maybe it's something I have to drop out of my plan altogether because it's unrealistic.
Right. Or
maybe it's something I got to come up with a new way of thinking about it, a new way of phrasing it. You know, something to work toward. Maybe it becomes a new goal. It's interesting. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you in the middle of something, but you know, again, it's always about. It's never progress. It's never about perfection. It's about progress.
Yeah. So again, leave work at work. While you're doing that, do something for yourself. Do something for yourself. Work out. If that's what you want to do, go work out. If you want to take a walk, take a walk. If you want to read a book, read a book. Hey, how about this? Invest yourself in relationships. Whether it be your significant others, your children, or your friends. Pick up the phone and get in touch with people. Communicate with your friends, your family members. Invest yourself in the relationships. And now, number 6, finish full. Finish this game full. Prepare for your optimum morning, okay? Prepare yourself. Have your clothes ready. Have your ancillaries ready. You know, whatever it is that you do in the morning, have them ready so that when you wake up and you're ready to go, man, they're ready to be there for you. Be grateful. Be grateful of what it is that you just did. You just went through an entire day. Folks, when we talk about one day at a time, this is what we're talking about. Be grateful of what it is that you just accomplished. People who have illnesses and have pain conditions and so forth, be grateful that you got through that day. Tomorrow is going to be another day. Worry about tomorrow. Then finally, when you're laying down and you're getting ready to sleep, what did you do well? What did you do well in the day? Now, there are going to be things, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to, like Wayne said, it's progress, it's not perfection, so you're going to have points where you're going to fall short. Don't worry about those. Don't mention those. Mention what it is that you did well for the day. Okay? If it means that you got through it, hey, that's good. Okay? That's not a bad thing. You know, But constantly think about what it is that you did well for the day. This is what I call dream setting, because it puts you in a mindset as to where when you go to sleep, you're doing your best that you possibly can in order to be in a positive set of mind, to where you're going to actually have less of a chance of having negative dreams to the point as to where they're detriment to you. Those are the 6 things that I do as far as my routine. And you'll notice every single time that I talk about something, I say, you're worth it. You're worth it. You're worth it. What does that do? When we say we're worth it, what do you think that's going to do with your self-esteem? You see, your self-esteem is not conscious. Your self-esteem is not something that you really have control over. Your self-esteem is something that's within your brain. It's within your subconscious. That's something that you have to program to work for you. So while you're continuously saying you're worth it, or you did a good job, or and rewarding yourself for what it is that you did for that day, folks, that's going to create the pattern. That's going to create the continual positive progression within your mindset to say you're worth it. And when your subconscious starts saying you're worth it, you're dangerous. You are to the point as to where you can get just anything that you want to get done. And that's something that not only do I talk about, you talk to anybody in regards to self-improvement, they will tell you the same thing. That is what it is that they do. Doctors will tell you the same thing.
I'll throw this one out there. I like to be a name dropper, and so I'm going to drop this name. On your Google, look up Benjamin Franklin daily routine.
Oh no.
Yeah, and see how closely.
How close.
Yeah, his was down to. I mean, he had what time he liked to wake up, and what time he liked to go to bed, and where he took his meals. But he had these times set aside for in the morning, basically planning his day, and at the end of the day, that sort of what did I do today? Did I do what I wanted to do? Did it? How did it work for me? Where you have that reflection. So you have the planning in the morning and the reflection at night, and then getting back to where you see this as a cycle. The first one was the first thing was the stretching, but the second one, fuel your mind and fuel your body.
Right.
Into the third one about looking your best. Yeah. That's all pre-planned the night before.
Right.
You got to make sure that you have the stuff in the house to have your breakfast.
Right.
If you like to have an elaborate breakfast, there might be some stuff you can prepare the night before when you're finishing full, so that you're ready to go.
Yep.
Maybe you're in your closet and you're looking to see what the outfits are. You don't have to plan it exactly, but you get a couple ideas. Yeah, I'd like to put that on with that. Oh, you know what? This needs to be laundered real quick, or whatever it is you need to plan the night before to make sure the next morning you're not running around like a wild chicken. You're actually going through your day, and you're getting your food, you're getting your bath together, you're getting your whatever you're doing in the morning. If you're getting your wardrobe together, but it was already kind of looked at the night before, so that you go to bed and it's like, oh.
Exactly. And then and this all seems like it's a whole lot of stuff. And it seems like it's a whole long day, Well, 24 hours is 24 hours. It doesn't matter whether it's long or short. But here's the thing. Like Wayne said, when you're prepared, when you're doing it day in and day out, it gets shorter. It gets to the point where you get on top of things. You know what I mean? When you think of things when you're given something the first time at work, when you were given a project, as to where you were just learning how to do that project. Well, it took you a good long while in order to get used to it. It got to the point where you had some anxiousness to you. It got to the point where you had some doubt whether or not that you could get it done. It had some points in time as to where it's like, well, it's like, why am I doing this in the first place? But then after a period of time, when you continuously do the same routine and you continuously do the same job, you get better at it. You get more proficient at it. You get to the point to where all of a sudden, now it's not taking so long. Now it's not so arduous. Now you're doing it for you. And again, you're worth it. And the benefits to all this is you're healthier. It doesn't matter what it is that you're currently your situation is. It doesn't matter whether you have illness. Doesn't matter whether or not that you have chronic pain or if you're in my case depression or PTSD. You're going to be healthier because you're going to be healthier in the mind. and you're going to be healthier in the heart. Better relationships. Folks, it's the law of attraction. If you're healthier, you're going to have better relationships with the people that you have because you feel better. And when you feel better, well, things become better. And then you're going to make better decisions. How many good decisions do we make when we're in a negative set of mind? Think about that for a minute. If you're in a better set of mind, you're going to make better decisions for yourself. And you're going to be making them for yourself. You're not going to be making them for other people. You're not going to be sitting there trying to make everybody else's world better and yours not. You're going to make better decisions for you. And then the future is now your opportunity. What are you going to do with it? Because, again, you're worth it. That's it. You know, as far as my list, Crystal, anything that you wanted to add in regards to our routine that we talked about here?
No, Shane, I think you pretty much covered it all. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I think that it's important to make those goals. And for me, literally, it is making a list and crossing it out. Crossing that out as you go down the list. But I just think that I have to insert with mine is like to be flexible, because you can get hung up on achieving your goals and not do it, and then throw my whole day off. You know, so to add some flexibility for myself into that. Okay, if you didn't get that done,
yeah, forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Get on tomorrow. Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly. Great point, Crystal. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm glad you did mention it. I mean, I'm one that will, to a detriment, I'll do it all. You know what I mean? If somebody comes in and they disrupt me, you know, it's like, well, I'll fix that situation and I'll get what it is that I get done. But that makes me tired. You know what I mean? That makes me tired, makes me ill. Over time, you know, if it's done on a continual basis.
Well, it'll eat into that your time, right? Where you know, part of that your time is, you know, hey, read a book, right, watch a TV show, take a walk, have a snack, yeah, you know, do something that's just for you. You know, and you can do it with other people, but you're doing it because that's what you want to do. You have that today. That's going to be the first thing you're going to throw out if you start trying to make everything else perfect, right, because you're like, well, I don't deserve the time to do that.
And that's exactly what starts happening.
And that's what starts happening. And then you don't have that anymore. So you're trying to work in your little bit of you time, me time. You know, drink a cup of hot tea, hot chocolate, iced tea, you know, coffee, whatever it is. You know, some little thing that's your little bit of time, and it doesn't have to be hours and hours. It can be 5 minutes at first if you're not sure how to do it, and you can get a lot of value out of that. But it's that little time to say, you know what? Woosah! This is about me.
Yeah, and then, you know, or just sit in a chair on your porch and enjoy the breeze. You know, I mean, whatever it is that you want to do, as long as you're doing it for you and in your health, then that's what matters. Because again, and I'm going to say it one last time, you are worth it. Folks, that's tonight's show. You know, I know that. You know, we went over the hour a little bit. We've been kind of helter-skelter all day long, so it kind of falls along with the plan. Wayne, you're going to bring up the contact page?
Yeah, I'm looking for it now. In fact, it's got to be.
It's somewhere. Anyways,
there it is.
If you want to contact us, hey, we got the chat room. You know, it's like we've had quite a few people in and of the chat, and I really appreciate everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming into the chat room and being part of our show. I'm really looking forward to you know, moving forward with the chat room. It's something, if you haven't figured it out, I'm excited about it. So I wanted to say hi to everybody. But if you want to get in contact with us, you can email us at arisenstrength@gmail.com. I check that every day on the hour. So, you know, we'll be able to, you know, whether you want to just comment on the show or whether you want to give us some feedback on what it is that you have been through or what it is that you saw on the show. Remember Charles gave us feedback, and next thing you know, I put him to work. You know, so I don't do that with everybody, but you know, it's like, but it was well worth it. So, you know, and then We're on Twitter. We're getting bigger on Twitter to the point is where we have our page. Our Twitter page is at Arisen Strength. And if you want to tweet to us, just use that hashtag Arisen Strength, all one word. And then, of course, our group, of which I love to death, that's our the Arisen Strength family. And people that are in that family, we have almost 500 people within the group. And when it comes to people within the group of the Arisen Strength family, and serenely speaking, we have almost 700 people. So it's to the point as to where we have a pretty good group there, and they're there to support one another as well as be able to celebrate, with what we've got going here, because it's not just about for us, it's about for all of us. And when I say all of us, I mean everybody that we impact, whether it be those challenges, those struggles that people go through. We want to try to be able to open them up and be able to have them back with their dreams, talents, and capabilities again, because it can be done, and you are worth it. That's about it. We're gonna wrap it up. We're in the chat room for a little bit to talk to those who are there. I just want to say thank you. Definitely come back and Thursday. When we have the recap for the show, and we'll be announcing what we're going to be doing next Sunday very soon. So thanks again, folks. I just wanted to say, listen, I know what it is that it's like to be a patient. I know how you feel. I know what you're going through, and I'm here to help. Thank you, folks.